Hi, folks. Jess here. I'm your business BFF. Hope you're doing great. Today, we're going to be talking about your social media content pillars. So excited to get into this. I think this is probably the highest topic of question that I get from potential clients, current clients, people on the internet, people in my yoga class. Um, they all want to know like what they can talk about online. I think that's the biggest thing. And maybe it runs up against imposter syndrome, things like that, of like, I don't know what to talk about. There's nothing for me to talk about. Everyone's talking about things. So I like to talk about the content pillars because it really visualizes how you can put together your content in a way that speaks to your audience and your messaging and doesn't speak to everybody, right? It speaks to who you want to attract. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so today we're talking about social media content pillars. So again, get your pen, paper ready because we're going to talk about a lot of things. How many points do I have here? Looking at my notes, 10 points. So let's get rolling. As always, I have a worksheet, a handy dandy worksheet for you all, and you can go download it on my website. I'll drop the link here so you can have it. And it'll really help your content ideation and creation phase. Okay. So I'm going to run through what content pillars are and then go ahead and download this freebie guide worksheet because it'll help you once you're like needing the ideation phase. All right. So here we go, getting into it. All right. So defining your objectives and your audience is key. It's our first step, right? It goes similar to messaging and branding that I did in another video. And again, you're gonna be able to watch all of these in a video library, which I'm so excited about. So if you want to go and check that one on your messaging and how to create your brand message, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with our objectives and our audience. So you want to identify your business objectives for your social media. So is it to build awareness? Is it for lead generation? Is it for customer engagement? And if you said yes to all those, let's narrow it down a little bit more. Um, and then also we want to define our audience. So I have that freebie. I think I should share it with you because it'll really help you with your persona, your target audience. And a persona is a human or a user that would use your service, right? Sometimes companies are really large and they have multiple services. And so each service has its own persona that they're speaking directly to, or their own audience that they're speaking directly to. Um, so when we think about how to define this audience, we have to think about the demographics, the interests, their own pain points. So I'm not going to get into all of that. But if you want to go back and watch that other video that I have on brand messaging, highly recommend. Along with defining your objectives and your audience, we want to conduct content audit and research. And I do this with clients conducting an audit because it's really challenging to audit yourself, right? Like you're you kind of don't in a way. So it's always nice to have a third party come in and do some audit research to see what they see. So reviewing your existing social media content across your platforms to identify successful posts, areas for improvement, strengths, weaknesses, your SWOT, if you will. Um, Strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. Yeah, got it. All right. Um, and then also conducting research on industry trends, seeing what other folks in your landscape, in your industry are doing. Not to say that we want to do that, but just to keep a pulse, see what they're doing. So I would come in and help you with this audit and research. But again, you can do it on your own, or you can have somebody on your team do, quarterly audits. I think that's always a good idea. Identifying key themes or topics. So brainstorming a list of themes and topics around your business, related to your industry, related to your persona or your audience. and then prioritizing those themes that align with your business and objectives. Um, and we'll use those key themes and topics to help determine your um, content pillars. So I like to think of your content pillars as your house, your foundation. So think of you have uh, 3 to 5 pill- pillars or beams standing up your house, right? With your roof on your house. So we need to have each one of those pillars, those beams, have an overarching content topic that you can then have subtopics for and talk about. But we are making sure that we're aligning with our messaging by having these content pillars. So we're not just kind of like throwing out content um, because folks will not be attracted to your brand in that way and they might tune out. So this is why we want to structure our content around 3 to 5. And I think for me personally, like personal branding, 3 content pillars is or consulting. 3 content pillars is great. Um, businesses with more service areas might need more content pillars, but it can really define during the audit what that looks like. But that's pretty much what your pillars are. It's 3 to 5 overarching content pillars that represent core aspects of your brand. So each pillar should reflect a distinct aspect of your brand or industry. And how we develop those content ideas is through brainstorming. And you can please make sure to download this link that I have to the worksheet because it's going to give you so many content ideas and brainstorm what's going to work for your people, your persona, your content. So, brainstorming content ideas and formats is really important. So, is your audience reading blog posts? Do they want white pages? Do they want videos? Do they want infographics? How do they consume content? And then thinking about how to keep your audience engaged um, as their preferences evolve over time, right? Like even content in the past 5 years, so much has been video, right? And we can probably attribute some of that to pandemic. But people are really interested in gaining knowledge through video or quick video, 15-second, 30-second video. So, or even long form, like what I'm doing. How can you give them what they're looking for in the platform that they're looking for? So once you have your content developed, then we're going to put it into a content calendar. And that's going to be the foundation of your content calendar topics every day, every week, every month, however that looks for you. And then creating and curating content. So developing high quality content that aligns with your content pillars is really key and talks directly to your target audience and your target persona. So utilizing a mix of original and then shared content and original and shared content is really important. And making sure that you're um, tagging and attributing where that shared information is coming from is so key. I've seen in the past week a, a few brands who have not given credit to shared content creators, and that just gets super messy. It's very messy in the comments, which leads to like a PR thing, which we will not talk about. But just make sure when you are creating and sharing out content that you are giving that content creator their tag and making sure that you're all good in that area. And again, if you need support around this, we're here to help. I'm here to help. But the next phase is to monitor and measure. So regularly monitoring the performance of your content is really important. Um, and then analyzing, you're going to look at engagement, you're going to look at reach, you're going to look at conversion. I really think marketers and business owners, right, we're turning into these like mini data analysts because we have to because there's so much going on. So again, if you need support around monitoring and measuring, I support with that as well. just making sure that your content is converting in a way that you're hoping it to. And then the last is to iterate and refine. I think I've used the word iterate just so much lately because it is so true. We want to make sure that we're capturing data and audience feedback, refining our content strategy. Content strategy is not a static thing, it is constantly growing and evolving, living, breathing document. And so you can also adjust your content pillars quarterly, biannually, whatever is uh, adapting. If you're a startup, it's probably going to look a lot different from a more mature company. So just make sure that you're keeping that top of mind. And I did want to show you this freebie that I created. It's really going to give you ideas. It's going to help you in that iterate um, phase to engage and grow with your audience. So I gave a couple ideas of content things that you can do, and then I also gave you call to action examples. So I get questions a lot with, okay, what is a call to action? What should I do? Um, and I talked about this in a sales funnel workshop. But a call to action, you just want to have, you have your content piece written up and then it just ends, right? Like you might be talking about a great client story or a testimonial, and then your your post or your content just ends. We want to make sure that we're adding in calls to action. So click the link in bio to learn more, tag a friend who needs to see this, join the conversation using our hashtag, download our free guide. You can do so much without saying buy our thing. So I put 22 of those in here that can be across industries. And then my favorite is another bonus that I added in here is 25 ways to build and lead your online community. So you could use this as like a challenge checklist. Um, go live on social media 2 times a week, deliver 20% more than what your client expects. It's just like fun ways to engage your audience. So anyway, please make sure that you download that, and then you can see my beautiful face at the end here. You can always email me or go check out my website. Much appreciated, to grab this download. So that's all I have for you today. That was a lot. Mainly want you to walk away with feeling like you can create 3 to 5 content pillars and develop a structured approach to create your social media content and supports your overall objectives and goals with your target audience. If you need support around this or help, I do have time on my calendar to support you in your social media content plans and your messaging. Just click on the link and we will get it in action, get it done. Okay, well, have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everybody, for joining.